Today, we're diving into a philosophy that sees the state not as some kind of necessary evil, but as the one and only engine for humanity's evolution. Maybe even our species' greatest hope. This quote right here, it's really the heart of the whole thing. It gets you thinking, what is our true potential, and what would it actually take to unleash it? Well, the worldview we're digging into today offers a very specific and, frankly, a very powerful answer. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at how this philosophy sees the world today, and, spoiler, it's not a pretty picture. Then we'll get into the big solution, the strong state. We'll also talk about how it totally redefines freedom, who gets to be in charge, and, finally, the absolutely breathtaking endgame for all of humanity. Okay, so according to this line of thinking, our modern society is failing us. Big time. It argues that we're living in an age that's actually crushing human potential instead of nurturing it. So problem number one, according to this worldview, is that the modern state is just weak. It's seen as a total puppet, completely controlled by big money and a tiny elite, instead of actually serving the people or aiming for something higher. And it doesn't stop there. The next big issue they point to is this massive wave of mediocrity. The argument goes that instead of pushing for genius and excellence, our culture is just pumping out this low culture that's all about cheap thrills and buying stuff, not honor or real achievement. So you put all that together, and what do you get? Well, it paints a picture of something straight out of a cyberpunk movie, right? We've got amazing, high-tech gadgets, but it's all happening in a world with huge inequality, where most people are just left feeling disconnected and alone. Okay, so if that's the diagnosis of the problem, what's the cure? This philosophy has one very clear, very powerful answer. And here it is. The big answer is the state. But not the state as we know it. We're talking about a completely reimagined, powerful state. It's not just a government. It's seen as the only thing strong enough to truly represent the will of the people and drive humanity forward. It is, as Hegel put it, the march of God on earth. And this chart really lays it all out. The weak state is what they say we have now. It serves the rich and pushes us all toward the middle. The strong state, on the other hand, would serve everybody. It would actively work to make its citizens better, and it would unite everyone behind some kind of grand shared mission. Now, this is where things get really interesting, because this philosophy takes our modern idea of freedom and completely flips it on its head. The key concept is called positive liberty. So instead of thinking about freedom from the state, this is all about freedom through the state. It's the freedom to actually do something great together, because the state gives you the tools and the opportunity to reach your absolute full potential. You can see the clash right here. Negative liberty, which is what most of us in the West are used to, basically says, hey, government, leave me alone so I can do what I want. Positive liberty is the total opposite. It says the state has a duty to step in and help you become the best version of yourself. And this leads to a pretty radical and, let's be honest, controversial idea, summed up by this famous quote. It suggests that if people are kind of trapped by their own bad habits or bad ideas, the state has a responsibility to guide them to a better place, even if they kick and scream at first. So if we're going to have this incredibly powerful state, who on earth is supposed to run it? Who's at the controls? The answer, in a word, is meritocracy. But we're not just talking about people who got good grades. The vision here is a system run by honest-to-goodness philosopher kings and queens, the smartest, most capable, most visionary people our society can produce. And it's not just a vague idea. There's a clear process. Step 1, you find the absolute geniuses in your society, no matter where they come from. Step 2, you put them on the fast track to leadership. Step 3, you give them the power to make real change. And step 4, you give them one job: optimize humanity. All right, so all of this, the strong state, positive liberty, the meritocracy, it's all building towards one final, absolutely mind-blowing goal. This is not just about building a better country. Look, the end game here is to literally re-engineer the human species. The idea is to use the full power of the state and the collective genius of its people to actively evolve us into something more, something divine, ready to take our place among the stars. And this isn't about creating a handful of super people to boss everyone around. No. The vision here is to lift everyone up, to create a world where every single person is optimized to their max potential. Imagine it, a planet of 8 billion geniuses, a true community of gods. So you see, this is way beyond just politics.
The grand ambition here is to basically create heaven right here, right now, on Earth, to build a wonder planet that's just crackling with energy and creativity and a sense of shared purpose.
And to make this happen, you'd need everyone on the same page, right? United under one single purpose. This philosophy suggests a new, unifying banner for all humanity, casting aside all the old divisions of money and faith to become one people, all striving for divinity together.